Hello guys, it's Jenny Jen the Plant Friend coming to you with a very quick, hopefully, planty video. And today's video, just want to discuss my routine as far as nutrient solution for my plants that are in leca and pond, and what I do for the ones that are in soil. So before we get started, I just want to welcome all of my first-time viewers. Thank you for clicking on this video today. I certainly hope that it's helpful to you, that it's informative, and that you will come back and watch some other videos. To all of my returning subscribers, love you guys. Love you guys. Thank you so much for always commenting. Thank you for being so positive and encouraging me to continue to press on through this YouTube thing, you know. So just wanted to say thank you. So yeah, let's get started. So I have a bucket here. I just put all of my solutions in a bucket, and I'm going to go through them, but this is the bucket and it just sort of rests over here. So the first thing I want to talk about is that when you have plants that are in pond or leca, semi-hydroponics, you always want to prepare the plant by taking the soil off and rinsing the plants, rinsing as much of the soil off of the roots as you can. I try not to do a lot of that in the winter time. I try to wait to spring and summer to do that, but on occasion I will, because I don't want the plant to have a lot of shock. And so yeah, so what I use for that in that case is I always use Super Thrive before I transfer a plant from soil to leca. So I might let it sit for a couple days in just some Super Thrive, and then rinse the roots off again, and then I move forward with my other solutions. Now, I did a video about a year ago about my nutrient solutions for my plants, but some things have changed. I went back and looked at the video because one of my subscribers asked me if I did a video about that, and I said yes, but I couldn't really remember. And so when I went back and looked, I realized that my solutions had changed. Now, I would like to say that I've had more growth since I made the change. And I have more plants that are blooming and flowering, and I'm going to show you why in a minute. At least these are the reasons that I believe that they're happening, okay? And so let's talk about soil. Let's just get the soil out of the way first, and then we'll get into the continue the transfer and everything. So a year ago when I did the video, I used liquid dirt for my for soil. All of my plants that were in soil got liquid dirt. On occasion I still use the liquid dirt, but I have changed my nutrient fertilizer for soil. So currently I'm using Has Grow Plants, and that's this solution. It has a little measuring thing on the side here, but I don't really use that. I have a little shot glass measure. You can get them on Amazon. You fill it about a half an ounce with per gallon, and the instructions are on the back here. But this is what I'm currently using, and I'm liking the growth. I'm also liking how plants that were yellowing started to green up again almost immediately of using this. This particular fertilizer you can use it to spray the plants. Like I put it in a spray bottle. Here's my spray bottle. I put it in this spray bottle, which is a little bit in there now, and I spray the leaves, I spray the petioles, I spray all up and down the plant also after I mix it. But now the difference in this and the liquid dirt that I was using, I could mix this up and have for 6 months and wait to use it, because once you make the mix, you can hold that mix for 6 months. With this, it's recommended that you mix it daily and use it within a few hours. So that's a little bit of a challenge, because as many plants as I have, sometimes I need to wait. But what I've been doing is just mixing up 1 gallon per day whenever I'm going to use this for my plants and soil. Now, 90% of my plants, okay, I just saw a bunch when I said 90, and I counted the other day, and I think I have like 130 plants just in the plant studio alone. But at least in the plant studio, I would say 90% of my plants are in leca and pond. either the mixture or just straight like a straight pond, most of it in the plant room. So in that case, I don't use this a lot in the plant room, but I do have a few of my larger plants that are in soil. Thai 2 is in soil. My Monstera Barjanata, I'm probably not pronouncing it correctly, but my variegated Monstera is also in soil still, and I don't plan to change those. They're doing fine. I don't want to mess with the roots. When I up pot in soil. So yeah, so this is what I'm currently using, and you can get this at Lowe's, Home Depot. You can also get it on Amazon, and it seems to work really well. It's by Medina, but yeah, so that's what I'm using for the soil. And so let's get back to the hydroponics. So what I'm using for what I used last year when I did the video, I think it was around March, but I used Foliage Pro, which was very easy to use, very simple. I loved using this, but I just saw better growth when I started using what I'm currently using. So you can also get anything that I'm mentioning, you can get on Amazon. Yeah, mostly Amazon is where I get most of my plant products from. And so Foliage Pro 936 liquid plant food, it works well. I just had an increase in growth, putting out larger leaves, things like that when I switched. So I'm currently using, and I know that Kevin, who has a lot of plants in Leca and Pond from, I think it's Hucanella planta or something like that. He uses the same system, but he has some other things that so you could check out his videos. But it's a 3-part system. So this is the first one, and this is called the Flora Micro 501 General Hydroponics, and I'll tell you how to mix it in a second. And then the other 2 that I use with that is the Flora Bloom. I'm getting a lot more blooms out of my Hoyas. And also Flora Grow. So this is the system that I'm currently using for my hydroponics. And so I went from just a half a teaspoon of this in a gallon to mixing these. Now, when you mix this particular system, you always mix the micro first, and you shake it up really good before you add the others. And what I understand is that you can have a nutrient blockout, so it won't mix thoroughly. So it's highly recommended that you start with this one, and they don't have like a 1, 2, or 3 on it, because you start with this one. You just have to start with this one. I have a little syringe that I just drop about, I think, 4 milliliters per gallon, and then each bottle has its own syringe. And then at that point, you can mix these 2 however, and you can, all of this information is also online, but you can mix these 2. It doesn't matter which one you mix first. And I just interchangeably mix them. Sometimes I'll mix the grow first, and then sometimes I'll mix the bloom first. It just depends on where my hand reaches. No particular, but I always, again, start with this one. So since I've been using this system, as I said earlier, I have been getting more growth out of my plants, and they just seem to be more stable. And people are always commenting about how healthy my plants look. So I just wanted to share, and because my subscriber asked, I just wanted to share what I'm currently using as far as nutrient solutions are concerned. And so that's what I'm using for my hydroponics. The general hydroponic system. I am not currently using any, I think it's, there's another solution that Kevin uses that I have considered, but because my plants have been doing so well, I didn't really feel the need to do that. So I'm just using these. And so the other solution that I wanted to share with you guys, it's kind of messy too, is I wanted to share what I use for my fiddly figs. I do have 4 currently still. I have 4. Yes. And they're all kind of, so I may be changing this system, but there's a fiddly fig fertilizer that I use. I mix up a half a teaspoon per gallon, and Now it recommends using this every 2 weeks, but I use it at every watering, but I'm probably watering about every 10 days, the fiddly fig. So, but yeah, so I've been using this for a couple years, and I have my little half a teaspoon on the side, so I don't have to search for it whenever I get ready to measure. So that's what I'm using for the fiddly fig. Other than that, everybody else gets general hydroponics because they're in Lucca and Pond, and then the soil one gets the Has Grow plants by Medina. That's what I'm currently using. Oh, I did forget to mention that the orchid spray for all of my Hoyas, I just spray the foliage down. Apparently this also helps with blooming. So if you're struggling with your Hoyas, getting them to bloom, this is the deal. And I spray maybe every 10 days or so. You can get this at Lowe's, Home Depot. You can also get it on Amazon. But and then there's apparently there's one that you can make. I just choose to buy it from the store as opposed to trying to mix whatever is in here together. I don't know that I'm saving that much money to do that, so I just continue to buy these things. I think it's like $7 or something like that, in somewhere between $7 and $8 at Lowe's that I buy it from. And you can spray a couple times, like I probably get about 3 or 4 times, and I have about I think 40 Hoyas, probably more than that. I'll count my Hoyas now I want to know. I'll just put it on the screen. But I do have quite a few Hoyas, and all of my Hoyas are, well, that's not true. All of my smaller Hoyas that have grown up to big girls and boys are in the plant room. I do have about 4 Hoyas in my bedroom. They're hanging Hoyas, so they're pretty big. I don't have any of the ones that are in the smaller pots in the bedroom. They're all in the plant studio. So anyway, and I am using the orchid mist on my Hoyas. So I just wanted to also let you guys know about that, because if you haven't heard and you start using this and see that your Hoyas are starting to bloom on a regular, then you'll know. Between the 3 or 4 of these, like this system and this, is what I use on my Hoyas, and they are blooming more. I also want to mention that I do have a rain barrel. I harvest my rainwater that I did a video a couple years ago where my nephew brought me a couple rain barrels, and I outfitted them for and attached it to my gutters and did all of that stuff. So I do have that system. So I'm not using tap water. I am not using distilled water. I'm only using rainwater on my plants. Let me add that in. And I also want to mention, whenever I take a cutting from my plants and I am propagating those plants, either for whatever reason I'm propagating the plants, I propagate mostly in water. I have lately started back propagating in perlite, but I always put in my PropDrop. I also ordered this online. I think it's in my description. If not, I'll make sure it's there. But I just put a couple drops. It's a rooting hormone. It's called actually root growth accelerator, that I put a couple drops in the water, and Hoyas just take off, like just immediately, like within a couple days you'll have roots on the Hoya. But everything else gets this as well, and it really works. And so I don't have to deal with powder and mess. It has its own little dropper, so I just drop a couple drops in there, and that works really well for propagations. And while I'm adding in my nutrient solutions and everything, I also want to show you how I prevent, and it's my prevention for pests, because if you have tropical plants in your home, you're going to get some sort of pest if you're not careful. Now you can do preventive stuff, and sometimes it works, but either way you need something to spray. So I use the Captain Jack dead bug spray on my plants. I also ordered, for spider mice, I ordered this houseplant insecticide with neem oil. I ordered it from online. I'll put the link in the description. But I mostly use the Captain Jacks, which you can get from Amazon, you can get from Lowe's, you can get from Home Depot. But once a plant has pests, you just need to make it a maintenance and just continue to spray that plant on a regular basis until you have gone through the cycle of the adult, the larvae, the young ones, and then the adults. You want to do that for thrifts and anything like that. But yeah, I did want to make mention that I use this to spray my plants with, and it just really depends. I don't spray all of the plants with this. I basically spray the ones that I've had a problem, either spider mites, thrifts. Those are the only 2 that I've really dealt with, where thrifts is a nightmare. But those are the only 2 that I've actually dealt with. I have not I've had mealybugs maybe once, and aphids. No, I did have scale on a peace lily, spectrophyllum. I put that boy outside because it was covered. Don't know where they came from. Don't know how they got on there. It was in the sunroom out back, and so I just got rid of it because I have 2 others, and I was like, no, it was just too far gone, first of all. But yeah, so just wanted to let you guys also know about this. This is what I use for pest prevention. So yeah, so hopefully I don't want to make the video long or try and find, just be real chatty for no apparent reason. I really just wanted to pop on here and share what I'm using for my nutrient system. Yeah. So hopefully this was helpful. If you have any additional questions, please leave a comment below. But thank you for joining me for this video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye-bye.